morning to all of you. I am Dr. Anupama Singh, and it is my privilege to welcome you all to the Day 4 of Digital LDP, the topic Digital Crimes, Modern Solution, Tackling Cybercrime DX at Vikaratan International Business School. On behalf of the institution, I extend a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Mr. Pradeep Rai, the Senior Advocate of Supreme Court. Before we begin into today's program, I'd like to introduce you to Vikaratan International Business School. Here, we are committed to nurturing talent and fostering an environment of excellence in education. This institute is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh University, Delhi, and approved by AICT and Bar Council of India for technical and law courses. In third cycle of NAP, we have graded A for this session, and moving ahead to the program, it is my honor to introduce our esteemed guest for today, LDP, Mr. Pradeep Rai. Sir is a distinguished senior advocate practicing at the Supreme Court of India with over 25 years of experience in handling a wide range of civil, criminal, revenue, and constitutional matters. He is the chairman of both the Indian Legal Research Foundation and Indian Legal Aid Center, and has served 2 terms as Vice President of the Supreme Court Bar Association. A passionate advocate for the legal community, Sir has launched numerous initiatives for bar members, including affordable housing, medical facilities, and training programs. He has been actively involved in significant legal reforms, including prison reforms and land allotment for the Supreme Court New Building Complex. Nonetheless, Sir has represented high-profile cases, including corporate houses, celebrities, and politicians, and is a recognized human rights activist. His contribution to legal field extend to organizing seminars, camps, and legal awareness programs, making him a prominent figure in the legal landscape. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Mr. Pradeep Rai. To welcome our esteemed guest, I invite Professor Dr. K.D. Sharma sir to present a warm welcome. Now it's time to hear from our guest. So, stage is all yours, sir. Yes.
Subject matter today, which is in regard to digital offences, digital crime, and the cyber crime. So, especially whenever a technology evolves and it grows, the requirement of amendment is equally relevant. So, originally, when our IPC was brought in 1833 by the Law Commission reports, then Macaulay he prepared it, and in 1858 when they brought it, those days postal offences, sometimes the communication, sometimes they used to words to communicate the information. So those offences they tried to brought in the ambit of IPC and later in the CRPC and then further in the Evidence Act. But because of the growth of technology, it was actually the highly demanded and required to do something which covers these offences. So we normally you can deal all with the IPC. But when you are dealing with the IPC, generally the Interpol and the other agencies who are abroad, they will not come with you in the association, especially to deal with such cases. Because it's your offence, it's your penal code. Even in India, in Kashmir, there was Ranveer code. So it was same as IPC, only one section difference was there, but everything was same. So to deal with any kind of situation and law and order, you require such modes by which you can have a global association. So to arrive on a global association, we required something to deal with the such offences like cyber offences. Sometimes publication is there, a news item published somewhere in the UK. Sometimes you get a call from South Africa and they say you transfer this much money. Nowadays, our Nu and Damtada and all these districts has become more notorious. But earlier there was some African countries, they started it. And from there, such cyber offences by which the cyber frauds and other technical kind of offences, they started spreading. And the training part, you see, most of the criminals in such offences are not trained, they have not studied, they have never been to school, but they understand technology. So, such criminals, dealing with them was not a easy proposition. There was no such law to deal with them. The same IPC was dealing, so gradually we had to decide that how to deal with it. Now India is member of Interpol. So when you are member of Interpol, you have to go and deal with such issues which is globally accepted. So the law nowadays, like in arbitration, you see, mediation, or even this kind of cyber offences, cyber frauds, extradition, all these you have to club together. And by clubbing together, there is a consensus to deal with such environment and situations depending on the nations. Like suppose Afghanistan, he is not the member of, Afghanistan is not the member of such consortium or such. When then you have some criminal, when you need extradition, you can obviously go and pursue the case there also. US is the only country, they have some special provisions in their laws by which they can prosecute the leaders of other countries, even if the offence has not happened in their own country. And what is the basis of such information? The information is through internet, through media, through statements, through the impacts. That is the only way to find out. As far as India is concerned, we never had any provision in our law by which we could have arrested someone who is committing an offence outside of the territory of India. First time we have introduced a particular section by which you can also convict Indian nationals only, or the offence which has happened in India and the offender's connect is also there in somewhere abroad. So those offenders can also be convicted as per provisions of our current BNS and BNSS. As far as Evidence Act is concerned, you have to deal with the particular strategy by which these cyber offenders can be caught. Nowadays this black web is there. You see, even if you are gradually working on cyber offences, you will find that someone is like digital arrest cases are. It's very prevalent nowadays. But such digital arrest cases, you will find that the real person or the culprit is not in India. He is sitting somewhere, or even if he is in India, he has using some kind of mode by which a secure connection, which is very difficult to test by using some VPN number or something. I think most of us, we know what is VPN number. So by using such modes, our ministry, it was really like cyber money transfer also, by wire transfer. Nowadays, we all transfer money through wire only. Most of the persons, they have their account on phone. I don't keep it. I don't use even credit cards. My office uses it. But ultimately, when you have all this, there are chances of entering or committing fraud by someone, especially in your account. That is possible. And I have not seen any person who have not paid extra sometimes, or who have failed to retrieve their money. Either 50 rupees, 10 rupees, whatever it is, but you don't have the mode. Even Indian Railway, they also don't refund sometimes your amount. So, because I am late, so I am trying to sum up things. So, it's a program in which the faculty members and even the students and lawyers, I am told that they are connected. So anybody, whatever you want to ask me, your questions are welcome, and that will be the way of interacting with each other and in more formal way. Because I have never spoken like this, the crowd is this side, and so I am finding it a bit difficult, but questions I can respond. So please allow me to answer whatever you ask, and then thereafter we can come to some other points if it arises. Yes. Please, questions, if there are any questions, you can please ask me. Yes.
I just wanted to know about the practical problems you have been an advocate faced while litigating the cyber crime cases?
You see, first of all, most of the district police or the state police, they don't have a proper way. I will give you one example. My Instagram account was hacked. And when it was hacked, I have many sources in the police. I am appearing for the state governments, I am appearing for the union governments. But despite appearing with all these and knowing everyone, I wanted my account to be retrieved. So I called all the police officers. Normally they come to me to brief me. So I told them that, you see, you have to take a prompt action. My account has been hacked from the joint CP to ACP to all the levels. But then finally, the officer who came to my rescue, he does not belong to my area because I stay in New Delhi area. In New Delhi area, I did not have any competent person to deal with such issue. So one DCP who had IIT background, especially in cyber technology, he had done the MTech. He came to my rescue, he interacted with everyone, he caught the culprits, and ultimately he got my account retrieved. So even in this basic your accounts, sometimes somebody creates your account, they start calling someone that you need some money or you are in some problem. And ultimately, the IFSO, the Delhi police, they have a branch called IFSO. I think that some of you can do internship also there for a week or two. So you will find all kind of offenses, what's happening there and what kind of calls they are receiving. But actually, you don't have the police force. You know the crime, you know the person who has committed at one level. After 2-3 months, then your account is finished because the persons who are indulged into this are there is no proper a kind of
trained police officers.
I am asking about those persons who are committing these offences. The moment you even come to know, they are shifting their locations. So even if you are working at one aspect, you are losing other aspect. And if you have the team, like in entire Delhi, you have around a team of 45 persons. In entire state of UP, you have a team of around 100 or 150 persons. Unless you are a very prominent person, it's really difficult to trace your cases. Or you are just finished, or you commit suicide and then somebody comes to know that he has committed suicide because of the cyber fraud, then the officers will start taking it. So it's really difficult. Our country suffers with manpower, especially in the police department, in judiciary department. You see, almost all the high courts are working with a half of their strength. Our judges are also not trained. The judges who are dealing with the cyber offense matters or cyber criminals, they are also not trained in the cyber crime. Like having a class or two and knowing something doesn't mean that you have the expertise of the offense. So it's better to first train them, create like text methods. You create a text that you train them, you give them text methods, then finally they are experts. So our judges should be expert, the police officers should be experts, and then even if an officer who wants to do the district, but he has some expertise in the cyber offense, you involve him. That will be the way. And raiding, suppose you come to know that these are the bank accounts which have been closed, the person is sitting somewhere in a village of population of around 40,000 and you are going to raid the village with the manpower of 30%. Because those criminals, they are connived with the local police. You are going from here to suppose Jharkhand, Jamtara. Local police will inform that some police officers have come, they are going to arrest you all, you just run away or you try to escape. So it's really difficult, and even if you catch them, they don't have any image like a criminal in their local area, so the villagers will not help you. So most of the time, even detention has happened, but ultimately it turned out that officers were detained. They detained first and then thereafter villagers detained them. So you had no option. So training is required. A proper training is required, and gradually we all are becoming global citizens. When you are becoming a global citizen, then you start realizing that such offences, because of the such networks which covers entire world almost globally, it's working in the sea, it's working in the space, it's working down on the earth, it's working even on the planes, everywhere. So when you realize that we all have to work together to deal with such situation, it can't be taken. So in my opinion, unless we start working on a training part, we start working on the awareness part, at the same time, the village heads, they may also be taken into the consideration, especially for the if actions, punitive actions, when you are going to take, they should be aware that such and such persons are indulged into such offences, and all these offenders should be punished properly. So then gradually it can happen. In India, I don't see that within 5 years you will have an effective mechanism like a traffic police, like police stations. It's really difficult. So we have another 5 years minimum to tackle with such offences. So only way to deal with it is that we have to be aware. So this problem is there, this problem will remain so, and in 5 years I don't see any possibility to deal and tackle with such matters.
And get a transaction of the whole amount in their accounts and tax collapse. So it's very easy for them. So sir, what do you think that if you will compare 10 years before to present, is there any particular change which especially as in a practice you can find?
You see, normally in cyber offences, there were no cases registered earlier. And there was no mechanism. Nowadays, a special DCP officer is appointed, police officers are there, they are registering, we have given a portal. At the portal, they are not doing anything. If you complain, you will get the OTP, they can track whatever, but you will not get anything. Ultimately, you have to go by a regular policing method. But at least registration is there. At least you know at some point of time, even if one person is caught, because there are common nature of offence. So depending on the common nature of offence, you are arresting one person. So that person will tell that these are the groups who are working. Generally they are not interconnected, but most of them, the nature of offence, the area of the such offence is common. Like I will give you an example. There was a terrorist who was supposed to be arrested. There was a group. Almost every third day they used to send a letter to the press and they used to commit those offences. Officers were faced that how to deal with it, because generally you trace the location of the phone. Like today, if somebody wants to know that how many phones are working in this room, you can find out. With all the networks, nearest tower together, and ultimately you will tell that yes, there are 65 persons sitting at one place with so many handsets of the internet. You can come up to this level. But then those offenders, what they used to do, sitting at different places, typing the message on their own draft, and they will not open the draft, they will not send it to anyone. All the offenders, they know the password. They will open their account, read the draft, delete it. So even if you trace the account, you don't have the draft, you don't know that what has happened actually. So it was really very difficult. Ultimately, gradually they tried to cover it, and they, by the hackers, because this is called ethical hacking nowadays. Because to deal with the offenders, you have to become offender. So police officers, they have non-governmental organizations like some private parties who are expert in this. Recently, I met a boy. This police commissioner had sent it to him, to me, to understand the nuances. And I found that that boy, hardly he was 19-year-old. And he was doing everything. He was telling me, sir, this I can do, I can crack the password, I can do this. So my Apple phone was not working. I just pretended. I said, okay, you just work on it and deal with it. Open this account. He opened it. It took almost 25 minutes. And because the fear was that if you put some wrong passwords many times, it will be blocked. So without getting it blocked, just working on the papers, that this can be there, this can be there, this. And he asked my earlier password, anyone. So just by giving one password, he connected, he asked me which password is this. I said 9th one. And he crashed it. Just by having one password information. So he must have applied certain formulas. I did not want to go into those details, but he did everything and he cracked it without even putting a single tab wrong. He opened my screen without asking me. Thereafter he entered into my email after for 25 minutes and he thought, yes sir, this is done. Even deleted information of WhatsApp, like years before you have deleted, 3 years, 4 years back, he could recover it. Just by sitting in the room without using any equipments from your phone only. That's why nowadays they have people started going into Signal in place of WhatsApp. Because when you use WhatsApp, then you are almost giving access to everyone. Whoever wants to track it, they can track it. But WhatsApp also shares information with the government. You should be aware. Nothing is encrypted end to end. But Signal is not sharing so far. FaceTime is not sharing other than the US government. If US government requires, they may get it. But other state governments, Indian governments, they will not share any other government. Even UK government, they are not sharing. Even China, with China, they are not sharing. And most of the sets are, that's why, made in the different countries because of it is assembled there. Like our Apple phone in India, Apple factory is just we are assembling it. Different equipments from different parts, getting it, bringing it here and connecting it. That is the way we are getting something within India. So, and Apple is also doing it deliberately so that any country should not have complete access over this information and this technology. Any other questions?
So there is a question.
Yes, yes.
Ask me to type.
Chat box, chat box, put the message in the chat box. Question.
So it's a question on how can we improve public awareness and education about protecting personal data from cyber threats?
Yes, so first of all, the only anything if you want to protect from your friend, what you should do? You should not share that info with her. That is the best way. The first lesson is that any password, if you are protecting something, don't share it with someone. Generally, we open our phone passwords in presence of everyone. So, suppose somebody is working in my office, they all know my password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we don't keep changing it. Generally, once you have the password, you don't change it. So, best way is that you don't share the information with anyone. Try to handle your own account, which is almost impossible for the persons like us, because we have so many other responsibilities and somebody will be working in our office who will be dealing with all this. But even with the ladies, with the younger persons, with the students, even if they are like earlier, if I lost 5,000 rupees, that was today's 50 lakhs for me. So this kind of things may happen. You have to protect yourself first. Password you should have alphanumeric, which most of you are keeping. And thereafter, facial recognition is also important, but sometimes, suppose you are hurt, or you are wearing something, nowadays the new Apple phone, they are providing all these without, with specs or without specs, or with mask or without mask, they can recognize through any part of your body. But earlier it was very difficult. But then there are now 3D images are coming. You have to be very careful, because 3D images can be created by AI. That AI can come in your room. That in UK, the day before yesterday, I got a call from a lady. She is want to file some case here, and she told me she is the head of this project. So she called me and said, "Sir, we are working on this. I can create a digital Pradeep Rai." I said, "How much cost will be there?" He said, "Sir, it's not too much, but whenever somebody is calling with the 5G connection, you can have 3D images meeting the person and in any place. So he has to just keep his room with the projector and it will be physically present in the room and it will be nice." In Japan, even if you find that there are even prostitution is happening with the digital modes. You have to wear gloves and you will actually feel that you are touching someone through digital modes. All these things are happening. And some of the Indian company in here, this Gurgaon, they are also running this franchise of the same, because it's not an offense. It can't be said rape, but you are doing it. So they are wearing the dress and they are feeling the same activity by using all this. So we have to be very careful. We have to get trained. When technology is going further, we also have to be trained and we have to go further. So nowadays these filters are there. You are clicking the picture. So filter is the one part. A very good good film has come. You must have seen, I think, this Control. It was on Netflix. I was just last month only I observed it. I viewed that movie.
So we have series on the incident like you just said, you can wear the glove and the image you were saying. We have series of these two incidents on Netflix also. They wear a body suit and...
No, but it's actually happening here in Gurgaon.
Okay.
I am not saying it's happening somewhere outside. Here in Gurgaon, near Lila Hotel. It's happening. So it's not something, because you have to be careful. So best protection mode is that don't share with anyone. Like many drug addicts, if they ask that how to protect yourself from drugs, only way that don't touch it. Otherwise you will be addicted. By 1 or 2 or 3, like many, even smoking will be difficult for many to leave. This liquor and all, which is the common practice. So drugs, if you touch, you may be addicted. And so many offences, you go to the NDPS court, in any of the district courts, especially in the NCR or Bombay or many metropolitan cities, you will find that there are so many medicines coming like this. That sometimes you are having a cup of tea and thereafter you will start telling everything without knowing the person and trusting him. Even your physical activities are not in your control. So you have to be very careful. Earlier we used to know that these thugs, have you heard the story of thugs? Many of you must have known. There is a very wonderful book, The Confession of a Thug, the award-winning book of those days, first freedom struggle, 1857. That book was written by ASP. When he was awarded, that thereafter he was interviewed globally. So finally, after 9 publicity programs, he disclosed that it is not my contribution. This entire book was written by me because I was recording the statement of a thug. So that is just a confession recorded by me. The questions I asked, the answers he gave, is same is the compilation of that. None of the paragraph is my contribution, none of the words are my contribution, and they narrated that how actually you can indulge and cheat people. How you can kill them and they will not even realize that you are the killer. How can you change your attire? The same thing has circulated from the physical world to cyber world. So you all have to be very careful when you are dealing with a person, especially the persons belonging to this modern age and who are expert of this cyber fraud and cyber expertise. With them you have to be very careful. Your Facebook account, your Instagram account, if you are not having the verified account, there is a possibility of someone's creation, but now there is a paid account are coming. So it's really difficult, but you have to be very careful. Our mechanism will grow, like blocking. That facility US is not providing us. Asking the Google or Facebook or these companies, Meta and all, they will block the account immediately. But Indian governments want to block it. Any of the state governments or even Indian governments, they will not block it. They will take time. And there is a lot of resistance. Whenever a government authority writes a letter to them to remove a post, like there were few news items against me last year. I wanted those to be removed. The police officers, they get the directions from the court, they wrote the letters to them, but it took almost 2 months to get it removed. But if suppose same was with the US government, it was a matter of minutes. Ultimately, that those wrong publicities benefited me because then I filed a suit and ultimately I recovered 2 crores from them. So that is the benefit for me. But everybody is not that lucky. So it may happen. Any other question?
Now AI is emerging as a major challenge, and now you have also told that holographic things are also becoming a major challenge.
Yes.
How the legal system will deal with all those things that we don't have the provision to do.
You see, even our legal system is using AI. Earlier when we finished our LLB and completed our LLB and came to Delhi, we used to have big libraries and research, and then finally coming out with one judgment, and then finally after reading the judgment we used to find that this is not relevant with our case. We used to go to another judgment. Now it's very easy. So these young lawyers, they don't need to do that much homework. They just look at it, find it, their own passwords and everything, they get it, the detailed, proper research. Even judgments are written. Whenever you want to deliver a judgment with the facts of the case, you just type it, place everything in record and get a summary. And then thereafter you put a human face. But again I will say, the suppose Ayodhya case was there. If you give it to AI, any AI, they will not deliver this judgment what has been brought to us. They would have delivered that you have to build the mosque again because you have erased that. The AI would have delivered. But the judges, they thought that this mosque is no more existent, temple is in practice, and even if today we pass a order completely as per the prevailing laws, then there will be riots in India. There will not be any harmony. So ultimately, even a single Muslim judge who was part of those 5 judging men had also signed, and you see this judgment has was brought. And no judge referred that you had written this judgment. It was a council's decision not to refer it until the judge to disclose that it was a judgment. Nobody was aware. All of them have signed. So I can't do this. So many times the emotional part cannot be dealt by law or by AI. That can be dealt only by the persons who are there. And AI sometimes is really great. Nowadays you see, 3, 5, 6 years back on Sophia, AI object was given citizenship and she got the passport of UAE. So you can do all this, but again you can't match with the humans. But AIs can be involved in the wars, they can be involved in the frauds, and by AI you can control many of their activities. Like sometimes when you start searching YouTube, they say that don't delete your history. YouTube send a message to you. And then you say because they are going to work on your profile, that what kind of visuals, what kind of content you want to observe, they will be sending those, promoting same kind of content of your subject matter, of your class. Those can happen. So AI is still premature, but ultimately now like security guards, you are finding so many AI security guards nowadays. Many Arab countries, they have around 5-6 general humans for the security. They have 5-6 AI security. And those AI will not die. They will perform their duty. Humans can die. So they are having all this, and these kind of facilities are working. It can be useful, at the same time it will be destructive. So it's completely dependent on you that whether you are going to use atomic energy or atom bomb. It's completely in your hand. So that the society will decide later.
Sir, but do we have any legal capacity for that?
Yes, the legal solution for
dealing with all these problems which may arise in the
the BLS will come, the same offences will come. Suppose a cyber, now you see, who will be responsible for it? There are 2 cases I will refer to you. Like a US university, Harvard University granted some aid to a particular 2, 3, 4 researchers to create one AI. They created the AI through their own company. They brought it and gave it to the university, but they were also using the same product. The Harvard University objected. They said that you can't use this product because this was our product. We gave you idea that we want this kind of product and you gave it to us. Now you can't use it. Ultimately, matter was brought up to the Supreme Court. And finally it was held that because it was funded by Harvard University, so it is the product of Harvard University. You can't use it. Similarly, like suppose you are creating a medicine for a company. So the company has got the trademark, belongs to them. But suppose some offense happens. One AI tool, you create a program to kill someone. And that tool is going to kill someone. Who will be responsible for that one? AI or the person who has programmed it? The person who has programmed it. So the same sections of these offences which are available in the current modes of BNS and BNSS and all these other laws, that will be applicable and the action will be taken. So Our laws are there. The only thing that the fixation of responsibility, unless it is very clear, it's difficult. So by these means you can fix, and then you have to take the center of global court system, globally the judgment which has been passed. आप लोग का टाइम हो रहा है, लंच शुरू करना है आप लोगों को।
Interesting interaction with all of us. So now it is for the felicitation. So I will call Dr. Nikhil. To express our formal gratitude, I would like to call Ms. Muskan Grover to give our thanks.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. It is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for today's session on the Legal Development Program organized by Center for Legal Studies, Vidyaratan International Business School. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest speaker for today, Advocate Pradeep Rai sir. Thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion with your presence. Sir, your enlightening words and profound insights have added immense value to today's session. Your expertise and deep understanding of the legal development have not only inspired us but also provided us with valuable perspectives to navigate the dynamic legal landscape, especially the digital landscape which is upcoming these days. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to our respective Chairman Sir Shri Anand Jindal and Vice Chairman Sir Shri Anirudh Jindal for their unwavering support and guidance. A special thanks goes to our Director Sir for being a constant source of motivation and for enabling the smooth execution of programs like these, which are integral to the growth of our students and faculty alike. Lastly, I extend my gratitude to the organizing team, faculty members and all the participants for making this program a resounding success. Your enthusiasm and dedication ensure that such events become memorable milestones. Thank you all once again. Thank you, sir, for your valuable time, and we would like to connect with you for future events. Thank you all.
Thank you.